Namaste everyone. Very warm welcome to Satsang today. Guru Shri Modi Ji ki Jai. The simple point is clear that if something we say is coming and going, then to even say that it is coming and going, or to perceive that it is coming and going, there must be a constant which is not coming and going. So if you were to report that this wall behind me changes color, sometimes it is white, sometimes it is yellow, sometimes it is red, sometimes it is black. That means that there must be something which is not going along with the white and the red and the yellow and the black. That is, apart from that, which witnesses that. So if this is clear, then what we are talking about is really simple. Because the clue is that we have to find that which is the unchanging. While everything is changing, what is the unchanging? Now, this unchanging, what is our experience? That this side, that which is outside of the senses, is our experience that something is unchanging in the world of this appearance of the world. Is there anything which is unchanging? There is nothing that is unchanging. Everything is constantly in a state of flux, constantly changing. This body, how much it has changed. That baby that was born to our parents, that body is gone. That young child running after chocolate, that child is gone. That adolescent with all the adolescent things is gone. This body is also been changing. Yet there is something constant that says, this is my body. Whose body is this? Who has perceived all this change? The world is changing now. What perceives this change? Then thoughts changing or unchanging? Changing. Even those thoughts that we believe, that which we call our belief system. Look at your belief system 10 years ago. Belief system is what? All those bundle of beliefs that you believed. Look at the belief system today. It's also changing. Emotions changing. 1 second joy, joy, joy. Next second grief, grief, grief. What about pleasure and pain? If any of these were constant, then we would not chase pleasure or try to run away from pain. These are also changing. What about the states? There's waking state, sleep state, dream state. Anything can be experienced. And it's constantly changing. that experiences all of this, that perceives all of this, that is the witness to all of this. And yet, by itself, it remains unchanged. And if it is unchanging, then it must be very simple, because it has been a constant. So we cannot find it through the senses, we cannot even find it through this inner perception of thought, memory, imagination, sensations like emotions. In all of this, we don't find it. Who is that which is the witness of all of this? What is it that is the witness of all of this that changes? So if for a few moments we allow that which is changing to be exactly as it is, if you're not concerned about that at all for some time, then what is it that we are finding ourselves to be? And if we put all that we are concerned about, all our so-called problems, all our so-called responsibilities, all that we consider that we have to do, that we desire, we put all of this in a basket called changing. Have you also jumped in the basket? What is it that is not yet inside the basket? If everything that changes, and all concepts about everything that changes, everything is put in the basket called change. Have you also gone? The world is gone, the body is gone, thoughts are gone, imagination is gone, emotions are gone. What remains? Let's talk about that for a little bit. Because all our life we speak about that which changes. Can we speak anything about that which is unchanging? Can we give some time to this? Some focus to this? Because actually we know what is going to happen in the realm of change, we all know. This body is born, and this body will be cremated or buried somewhere ultimately. The dream starts and the dream ends. It cannot continue forever. So the story of the changing is very straightforward. Is there something which is beyond this story? Something that will not die when the phenomenal dies. So, what are the clues we are finding now? That which is the unchanging, that which is beyond birth and death, and that which is the witness to all that changes. All the elements are constantly changing. What witnesses the elements, including the space in which the elements are arising? That is why in the scriptures it is said that there was a young boy, Nachiketa, who was offered everything that the world had to offer by the god of death, Yamraj. He said, "Don't ask me about the undying. You take everything that the world has to offer." But this young boy, Nachiketa, said, "No, tell me only about that which is beyond death." This is the story of a beautiful scripture called the Katha Upanishad. Katha Upanishad. Now, if you are Nachiketa, what is it that you want? The Supreme Lord was standing in front of you right now and said, ask for whatever you really want in your heart. Will you ask for something which also will come and go? Something which is beyond death? Who are you? If the term appearance means that which comes and goes, then are you also an appearance? And if you are not an appearance, then what are you? Who is aware of all of these appearances? Is that itself an appearance? The nature of all forms is that it is changing. They are changing. That is another clue. So you will not find the unchanging as if it is an object. You will not find the truth as if it is a perception. Can you report something which is beyond the realm of perception? Here the mind starts to get confused, isn't it? That's why I take the simple example. What's in my hand? You perceive the glass, so you report the glass. You perceive something, and you have the label glass. And you say, this is a glass. But when I ask you, if you are aware now, do you perceive awareness? And if you are perceiving something and mistaking that for awareness, find out what is aware of that. Like some of you might, your mind might be offering you a visual of awareness, like some dark space or some luminous energy. But what is aware of that? Is that space? Is that dark or light? How do you confirm that you are aware? That's why we call it the non-phenomenal experience. Here the mind cannot help us. The mind can only fathom phenomena. You don't have to imagine the answer. You don't have to infer the answer. You cannot solve this puzzle. You cannot use your intellect. You cannot use your reasoning. You cannot use any concept. No imagination. No past. No future. No sensation. No emotion. What are you right now? Allow all thoughts to come. Notice what witnesses these thoughts. Allow yourself to witness your next thought. And as this thought goes away, notice what witnesses the space between two thoughts. Did the witness change, or was it the same? And if that which witnesses the coming and going of thought is unchanging, then you see that you cannot be the mind. Because the mind is just a bundle of thoughts. Who is this perceiver? And what is the nature of it? Question? If you have to think about it, then there's not a question. I'm not inviting questions which you have to go and pick up. Only something that you feel like it is there that you just can't drop. Then we can help you to look at that together. We can drop it. And you know very well by now that actually everything is already dropped in this moment. But if it is recurring and seems to bother you persistently, then we can shine some light on it together. Shivani says, Father, can I ask a question? Yes, Matthew.
The question is always the same. Like you said, this thing that always comes to me. It's like, if I'm not looking for a thing, like you said, it's like the mind just gets like, it's just like, it gets twisted because, and then even like when we were doing it, I was like, okay, just forget, just put that aside, just, let it be confused over there, and just keep like, just keep looking. But there's always this thing of like, I'm not looking for a thing. Like, how do I? I don't know. I don't know, Father. It's just like this is the kind of persistent thing. It's like how I don't even know how to explain it. It's like how do I know? Or how do I see? Or how do I confirm without a thing? It's just, and I don't know if it's just because the mind is like needing to have something or what. I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of a recurring thing.
Okay, let's try this simple thing. Let's try a very simple thing. So give yourself some time and wait for the thought to arise. So we asked, what is it that witnesses this thought? And as the thought goes away, what witnesses that there is no thought, no mind also? So if this question was asked very simply, like I was asking for some directions, then what would you say? If you don't make it like a thing, if you don't even make it like the inquiry, I'm doing the inquiry. I'm just saying, did you see that thought that just went past? Can you tell me about the one who saw it?
Yeah,
What would you say?
that's like I don't know what to say. Like it's just like I can't. You can't even. You can't
Yes. Is
try
it?
to speak about it.
Yes, but the not speaking about it, is it coming from the frustration that I'm not finding it? Or is the not able to speak about it coming from the fact that I don't find anything with any quality there. So what words can I use?
I think it's a mixture of both, though. I
Okay,
think
so
it's like it's clear that it's not phenomenal, but then there's kind of like this urge to grab it, like, and explain it, and like, because you're asking, so it's like, oh, I'm trying to grab something, but I can't grab anything.
okay, so let's become really slow about it. Although they might be starting to resist already, even then we can go really slow with this. Now together, both of us, we're waiting for the next thought to come. Now, is the thought perceived or not? Let's not worry for a moment about who is perceiving it. It's perceived. And before the thought came and after the thought went, there was also a perception of nothing, empty space between thoughts, isn't it? So that part is not in doubt, that there is perception of thought and the space between thoughts. Now, you just need to ask the question without any investment in the answer, because this is what is getting you stuck. Without any investment in the answer, we're just going to ask the question, what is perceiving the thought and the space between thoughts? Just throw the question in there and step away. Okay? It's like you throw a firecracker and then you just step back. Don't have any investment in whether the answer is coming, clarity is coming, what the mind is saying, nothing. So I'm not actually asking for the answer, I'm asking for the question to be invited. Although it might seem like I'm asking for an answer, but let me clarify, I'm not really asking for the answer, I'm asking for you to invite the question in, because it is the inviting the question in which is enough. This is something Bhagwan said the other day, means I read it the other day that Bhagwan said. He said, inquiry means to ask the question and then get out of the way.
Although yeah, this is exactly it, because it's answered actually already when you ask the question, like it's answered, and then on top, you like with everything else, then you have the commentary or whatever, you know.
So, so what you're saying is that there is a non-verbal, non-phenomenal answer which is so clear. Now that answer is what you are. What does this mean for Shivani or the objects in the world? It means nothing at all. See, that is the important distinction. When we bring in the idea that this must now mean something, or so now what? So now nothing.
Yeah, it's really really clear, like for a split second, like there's a bit of a habit I'm not going to say it's a strong thing, but I notice and I see also addiction to the mind, basically. Trust, interest, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. And I won't say it's strong, but it seems to be. Like, because it's obvious. And I feel kind of like there's panic about not, like a panic arises about not, like you see it's clear, and then there's kind of like this really horrible, yucky feeling, like, and this movement towards, yeah. But anyway, doesn't really matter. It's just, yeah, I can see what you're saying.
The one that sees this, the one that even sees the yucky feeling, is that one concerned or perturbed by either? So the one that becomes concerned or perturbed by panic or by space or clarity, or either of these opposites, does that one have any reality?
It's only like relatively real. Like it's happening. It's like there's reactions in the body. There's all sorts of activity that's perceivable in the mind. There's even actions that come out of all of it, and blah blah blah. Like it's all relative, but I have to say, like, I don't actually know if it's real. I don't actually know if it's real anymore.
Okay, so slowly now. So one we found, which witnesses all of this thought, no thought, emptiness or yuckiness, all this, is it? It perceives. Is it? Now this one you say is unconcerned by any of this. Is it? Now, is there another one there that could be concerned?
It's not a one. It's just like a whole movement of stuff. It's not really a one, like a thing. It's like a collection of things. It's like thoughts, body movement, emotion,
Yes.
but it's not really a thing.
Yes.
Like one thing.
Yes. So all this, what we talked about, the world of change, everything is constantly changing. You see? So if we were to say that I am suffering because of it, or I am concerned by it, or I am frustrated because I'm not getting it, does that I have any validity that you have actually found, which is not just presumed?
No, it just says it does. It doesn't actually. It just says, like, it's just a thought saying that it's something.
Exactly. So it's like saying that, oh, Shivani, I don't like what you're telling me right now. No, okay, let's take a better example. It's like saying, Shivani, that, that blue cat with pink ears that is here, that doesn't like what you're saying right now. So what would you say? And then you would say, oh, is that blue cat with pink ears really a thing? And then I would say, no, but there's a set of feelings, blue cat feeling, and a set of blue cat thoughts, which make and I said, okay, that makes up the blue cat. Would you buy that story?
I used to, Father. Like, I remember talking to you about this. It's like, but it's starting to not. No, it's starting to be more and more obvious that it's just a bunch of different things, like appearances.
Now, I'm going a step further. I'm saying that not just is there a blue cat, but I am the blue cat. Now, what would you tell someone like me?
To go to Satsang.
Because I find in Satsang, if I go to Satsang, what will happen?
I don't know, Father. I really don't know what happens. It
So,
depends on who you're talking to.
For example, you could say that you will go to Satsang and you will find that there is no blue cat. You know, but then I would tell you, so what do I get as the blue cat? How does it help me as the blue cat to know there is no blue cat? Isn't it? Isn't that what we do in Satsang? Not just you, of course, everyone is saying so. Now I see that there is no such blue cat, there is nobody sitting there, there is no person, it's just been an idea. But it certainly still feels like it, or certainly these thoughts still try to sell me the story of the blue cat. What do I do? And then I say that allow all of this to come and go. But as long as you don't pick up the idea that I am the blue cat, you cannot suffer any of the blue cat's problems.
Father,
That is the
yeah, because there's this thing right now that's happening. Oh. Oh gosh, hang on. Because yeah, all this time it's like, oh. Okay, I've lost it, but something just really hit me right then. Like it doesn't exist. It's actually a bunch of stuff going on, and you're collectively calling it a thing, and me, actually me.
there's just a bunch of stuff going on. This is very good.
There's like the main thing. Yeah.
Yes. There's just a bunch of stuff going on, and we are calling it me.
Okay, can I just quickly say this before I...
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. We're...
Can I just quickly say this, Father? It's break... Yeah, it's breaking up a bit. Because, like, the motivation right here has been, like, to change the story, but it's not even about that, is it? Like, right now, when you are seeing that it's not a thing and it's not me, it's just all these things, it just doesn't even matter how it plays. Because this suddenly this realizing that it doesn't even matter what plays.
This is good. This is good. So the funny thing is that we are not even calling everything that is going on me. If you were to label every perception as myself, and then you would see that there are no others, even then you could not have a problem. It is just that we are selectively picking out some perceptions which are related to this body, some perceptions, some sensations that are related to some idea of me, and saying that this is me and everything else is not me. You see? Because if you were to say everything is me, then we are speaking as God. I am that I am. Everything is happening within me. And when you say that nothing is me, then we have gone to the absolute, which is beyond even this appearance of consciousness and the disappearance of consciousness. Either is fine, but it is this limited concept of me that we pick up, that I am something contained in this body, I am something which has some meaning to what the mind is saying. There is no such one. So what is happening is just happening. Stuff is moving about. Like you said, it's just moving. Nobody is moving it. Nobody is doing anything. Just a set of sensations moving about. But you are not contained in them. They might be contained in you from the broader perspective, as in everything is contained in you. But to pick and choose some sensation and call it me, that is folly. See, that is the mistake. This voice that you're hearing is also you. If you label something you, some sensation you, then label everything you. Don't distinguish between mine and other. The one that is speaking is you, the one that is hearing is you. Because the boundary is mental, the boundary is defined by the voice of separation. So either we say everything is me, or we say I am not in this at all, I am beyond time and space. Both will come from these insights that we are sharing in Satsang. So the trouble can come that when we put the me back into the picture and say, I have seen all of this, but how does it really help me? The one that is making that report has seen nothing. Because the one that has seen does not want anything. You see, that in that moment of insight, you saw you and you wanted anything else. It is only that blue cat you which says, so then what now? What did is it? What's the point? Like that. That one wants a point. Like something to change for itself. But that one never existed.
Crazy. Thank you. Father, can I just say, it feels more like I am nothing than like I am everything. It's like every appearance is like, yeah, it's like,
Yes.
yeah.
It's very beautiful, this contemplation, because Maharaj said, to see I am everything is love. To see that I am nothing is wisdom. And my life just moves between love and wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to force any sort of insight. Just coming to this to see that you are no thing. It's more than enough. And actually, even better than saying nothing, we can just leave it blank. See, because nothing can also have a connotation of a phenomenal nothingness or something. Of course, you're phenomenally nothing, but it can be misconstrued to mean something. The nothing itself can be misconstrued, misunderstood to mean something. So you just, as I've been saying the last few days, the mind's attempt is constantly to fill in this blank. I am dash. I am blank. You don't fill in anything in this box. And the mind fails. And this truth is so apparent. It is so clear. But the mind has the more difficult job to make a something out of you. That's why the truth always prevails, because that is simpler. You can never become something. It's so beyond anything.
Can I say something else? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
I don't want to going backwards, but I'll notice, like, for example, with Jess, you know, and I feel like this relates to me as well, like, especially when I see her, you know, her flavor, for example. I don't even know where I'm going with this, but I just want to get this out anyway. It's like, I really see, like, in some flavors, there is like this tendency to think, like, she's a thinker. She just thinks non-stop, you know, and I feel like I'm the same. It's just for the joy of it. I think consciousness just loves to play with this mechanism, you know, or something. I don't know. But I notice it in Jesse. What's the point? Oh, sorry, I lost the point. Probably not the point. I don't know if you're still there, fella. Frozen.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry?
Also, I said that the audio is not very clear, so we didn't hear you so well anyway.
Okay.
This consciousness, in some aspects, is loving to play with this thinking mechanism of thinking. I'm not sure whether you were speaking about Jess or about yourself, or both. I'm not really.
Well, yeah, it comes to me to say this because I see it in Jessie. Like, I see it in her. Like, she's just flat stick, you know? And she loves to think. She loves to use that mechanism, you know? Whereas some people can't be bothered. Like Ruby, she's just the opposite. She cannot be bothered. She hates the academic side of school because it's like, why? Why do I have to do this? I'm totally not interested. She just wants to see her friends, you know? Jessie loves it. She loves telling the teacher how good she is and, you know, all that. So the point is, like, I feel like this flavor is here as well. And then on top of it, like, and this is not going back as far, I just want to explain how it plays out here. You know, like, the appearances are. On top of it, there's, like, the conditioning of, like, I think my dad was the same. So he's, like, you know, screaming at you to figure it out and get it right and da-da-da. So then on top of that, there's this, like, real desire, or whatever this thing is, to think, you know, yeah. So I just want to put that out there, Father. Like, I just want to, I don't know why. I really don't know why, actually. Because I notice it, basically, because there's an awareness of it.
That's why
I don't know what's going on tonight.
Spotted that tendency we have, and that's why these days often I've been saying that you cannot figure it out. You cannot solve it like an equation. You will not be able to compute the truths using the inquiry. You see, you cannot solve it like a algebra equation or something. And yet, because many of us have this condition that we have to get it right. You see, we have to uh, get the right answer through computing it, figuring it out. That's why I've been saying just drop all that, because before you can take first step towards solving it, you are. That is all that is needed to see what is here without any trying, without any effort. Just this recognition that no person has ever existed. All there is playing is consciousness. And I am that which is.
I think I just wanted to tell you so that, like, sorry, we're having internet issues. Sorry, talking over you. Yeah, I just wanted to make it like known so that, you know, if I'm going off on some tangent, blah blah blah, you can just say, okay, stop. Because yeah, even when you're talking, it's like I'm nodding because I've understood that. You know, it's like, yep, got that bit. Okay, next bit. Yep, got that bit. Next bit. Sometimes, you know.
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
So yeah, Father, just to tell you, like, so that you can point, you know, if ever needed, just like.
Dear Father, I believe Tanya, Milos, and myself are coming for a retreat in Thiru. Thank you, much love and gratitude. Very happy to hear this. And I'm hoping when you say a retreat, you're talking about the retreat that I'm having there. But even otherwise, if you're just coming for a retreat, it's good. I'm just fooling around, don't worry. The only driver, this is something that we put into the blank of I am. I am something. So this something either you give to me and forget about it, or you inquire into the validity of this. I know that it is not true already. So either you can, in your devotion, hand it over, or you can investigate whether it is true or not. Either path will bring you to the same recognition that you have never been a limited entity. There is no such thing as the limited self. It is only a presumption, only an idea that we have picked up. And that's all we are always doing in satsang. Either I'm asking you to let go, or I'm asking you to inquire. What different words are being used, are both being used just for this.
something was like contemplating before also.
Louder so they can hear.
Yeah, even it's like when we inquiring or uh, even trying to see that, I don't know how to put it in words. It's like underlying is belief is of a separation, and it's like when we say ki at this moment you are, so there's a instantly that assumption has been picked up of separation, and then from that point of view trying to see that I'm not separate, and it's like is that I don't know how to put that.
So it's good what you say. What he's saying is that even to do the inquiry, we can pick up the underlying assumption that I am a separate entity, and then I must do the inquiry to find this thing. But the inquiry is one of those rare things which is asking you to question the assumption itself. Most instructions in this world are referring to you as if you are an individual entity. There's only these rare things like the inquiry which says, can you question that presumption itself? Now, for many, when I just say, leave it can feel like even that has the underlying assumption that I am somebody who has to now leave it. So we have to somehow come to this seeing that there is nobody here. Just in your naturalness in this moment, there is nobody here. To see that there is nobody here is the simplest surrender. And to see that there is nobody here is already the inquiry. Now, if you still feel like you are somebody, and yet you leave it and say everything is my master's problem, then that will give you so much more space to actually come to the recognition. Even if you surrender believing that I'm an individual entity, but my life is my father's problem, then you will see that when all this mental traffic has no meaning for you, you'll see how apparent the truth is. The recognition is super simple. Even if the presumption is, when you're starting out, even if the presumption is that I am Hari, but I see that everything in my life is Guruji's problem. Then even if the presumption is there, I am Hari, it cannot survive. Because the I am Hari presumption lives on problems and things to do and things to want. As you hand over all of that to the Sadguru, then you will see that Hari has no role to play anymore. And then it's so apparent that there is no Hari. The truth becomes much more apparent in the space of surrender. And in the same way, as you're coming to the recognition using inquiry and seeing that I am not this Hari, there is no Hari, I can't find him, then you find so simple to surrender everything away, which we consider to be Hari's problem. Is it? Because I can't even find this Hari, what do I do with Hari problem? Isn't it? If I can't find the one that the problem belongs to, then let whoever's created it, let that one take care of it. So both are wings of the same bird. When we inquire, surrender becomes simpler. As we surrender, inquiry becomes simpler. Now, maybe what you were saying is that naturally in this moment, I'm empty of all of this. Not even a step, either surrender or inquiry, nothing I have to do. And that.
It's like more of feeling the moment I sense come, it underlying belief is that body sensation. In some way, it's like
So when the I am sense is coming, then you will start to experience body sensation, that which we call the waking state. But to say that to put that label that this is me. That is where separation comes. Before you start labeling, and body sensation is coming, these words are being heard as sensations. Traffic on the road is also sensation. Everything is sensation. When you create the boundary using thought, saying this is what separates me, this is the me part, this is what I was telling Shivani also, that either we accept every sensation as me. What decides that this is the boundary? It is just the mind voice saying that these body sensations are actually defining your boundary. But every time, and we have investigated this together also, and you have found that the same space in which body sensations are happening, all other sensations are also happening in that space. And all of this is within my being, isn't it? So what makes us define that boundary? I think this is me, this boundary. And some are not even just body, but they say, oh, I am beyond the body, I am till my aura. So another way of defining the boundary. But actually there is no logic in that. It's most illogical. The mind will convince you that this is the logical way to be because everybody around you seems to be saying that. But actually, what separates this sensation that you're experiencing from a sensation that you're experiencing in your foot, that which you call your foot? It's in the same space. Where is this voice being heard? Outside you? All our experiences are in the same space. Able to accept that in a dream, say, yes, yes, the entire dream is within me. And there all this can happen. But in this so-called waking state, we say, no, no, that was just a dream. Now I'm this body. So that is what we are investigating. Are you really just this body? What convinces you of that? Just the intimacy of the sensation? Just the centrality of the visual perspective? Is it because I seem to be peering out through these holes in the head? I seem to be peering out. Am I sitting there somewhere behind, with a joystick controlling this head? There is no such one like that. Just an idea that we have. Just an idea. There is no person sitting. That's why I ask you, who is sitting in the citadel, in your inner citadel? Is there a person sitting over there? What is the light in your heart? Is it God or personal? And if that which lights up your presence, lights up your being, is just this pure consciousness, then where did the person come from? Who is that one? Where is it? That's why I ask you also very practical things. Who is the one who is concerned about the bank account? Who is the one that is concerned about the relationship? Who is the one that is concerned about health of the body itself? Bank account? The body? What does it know about bank? Sorry, is banker? Mr. Banker is here. I didn't mean to pick on bank accounts. Just to illustrate. So this one is which one? Body cares nothing about it. Which is that one? This is that mythical blue cat who says, I want my next bowl of milk. That we've been playing as if we are feeding this one constantly. And this one has an infinite appetite. You say, okay, this much. Then you say, no, little more. Little more, then you'll really be happy. Really, you'll be set. And you get that little more. No, just little more. So this, the belly of this blue cat is never full. That is why I don't buy into that theory of giving everyone what you desire so that one day you will desire what I want to give you. I don't buy into that because I've seen that this desire treadmill never says that it's full. Keep on running, next one, next one, next one. Because what does the ego want? If you were to really interrogate the ego, you would find out that the ego wants to be God in a personal way. And till it gets everything that it feels God has, it is not satisfied. It wants to own the world in a personal way. It wants to have control over everything in a personal way. It just lies and says, okay, if you give me this much, it is going to be enough for me. Because it wants you to take that next step. Okay, remember all of this is metaphorical. We're just explaining parts of the game. Okay, don't take this like the gospel truth or something. So we're just explaining how the mind functions. And you see that it just says, okay, this much, okay, this now. It's never done. That's why this does not work. Let me fulfill your desires so that now you can desire this, what I want to share. Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Muji Ji ki Jai.
Sadhguru Shri Ananta Ji ki Jai.
Okay, we'll look at this question next time. Just remind me to answer this next time, please.